While hosting Canada's premiers in Huntsville, Doug Ford said that Ontario would use constitutional powers to take over elements of the immigration system. Now the premier says he wants to help the federal government with immigration.
Well, good morning, everyone.
Ontario Premier Doug Ford with his Minister of Labour and Immigration back at Queen's Park. It follows a big week for Ford as chair of the Council of the Federation, the gathering of the country's premiers that also included a visit by the Prime Minister. Despite talk of unity, on the final day of the conference, Ford took aim at slow response times within the federal immigration system. Ontario, he said, would use powers granted in the Constitution to begin issuing work permits to asylum seekers.
I'm not waiting any longer. We're issuing work permits in Ontario for these folks to give back and contribute to society in Ontario.
Monday, Ford had a different tone.
We don't want to take over the immigration system per se and take the burden on, which we're doing already, that we're spending over $1 billion. They want to throw another $500 million on our shoulders, but I do want to see these work permits.
Ford said the idea to use Section 95 of the Constitution to issue the work permits came from Alberta Premier Danielle Smith. When asked for comment about Ford's apparent change in position, Smith wrote that her government is consulting Albertans on whether Alberta should assume full authority over all aspects of immigration. In Huntsville, Ford claimed it takes 2 years for asylum seekers to be processed. When pressed on where that number came from, he and the Minister of Labour and Immigration blamed the federal government for a lack of information.
We aren't getting the data. All I know is on Airport Road in my area, there's people who have been sitting there for 2 years.
I pointed to already the lack of data that we're getting, the data sharing piece, which all the provinces have reiterated on.
Some of the data the minister did quote today: 140,000 asylum seekers still unprocessed in the province of Ontario. The premier says Ontario will help the federal government with immigration, but there is no more talk about taking over portions of the system. Alan Carter, City News.